Our female lead Sunyan loses her voice due to some incident in her childhood, and on one hand, Gom-young, who is our male lead, belongs to a very rich family, and now he is going to do a contract marriage with Shon-yen just to save his business. Anyway, who would marry Shon-yen who cannot speak, and even Mangan does not have any interest in her? But this fake marriage of these two will gradually turn into a love marriage, and to see their love story, we will watch this romantic drama. And friends, if you like this drama, please like the video and comment. So, as soon as the story starts, we see a crying lady who is very helpless due to some reason, and someone has forced her to commit suicide. She is on the call at this time and she is telling that man that you want me to die, right? So, okay, I will fulfill your wish. And on the other hand, her daughter is searching for her, calling her mama mama, but then she is seen behind her. There is a sound of someone falling, and it is none other than her mother. Seeing her mother in such a condition, she screams so loudly that the poor lady becomes dumb after that. Then the scene shifts to the present, and we see that all these are her nightmares. From that time till now, all those things keep coming in her dreams. As soon as she wakes up, she sees a newspaper in which her mother's date is written, but now many years have passed since this accident. After this, she leaves for her work. On the way, she meets a lady. Seeing her, she says that Johnny Yen, I am seeing you after a long time. As she cannot speak, she starts talking in gestures that what are you doing here? Then Larry says that I have come here to tell you on your father's behalf that our company Jinlong King is facing some financial problems. That is why this school for special children which you are running, they want to sell it, but Sunyan refuses and says that this school is for my mother. It was built by and my father has nothing to do with it, so you people cannot sell the school like this. Then she says that even though your mother had built it, but the land was your father's, she says that if it is so, then go and talk to your dad yourself, and she brings her to an unknown place, and then two boys come here who make her unconscious. The scene shifts and we see the night scene. Here Shon-yen regains consciousness. When she sees herself in a room with a man, she understands what her stepmother wants from her, and then we see her stepmother who meets the rich businessman Mr. Ju. He comes here. Then this stepmother says that as I had promised, I have fulfilled my promise. Now I hope that you will also help me in this financial crisis. Jubi is very happy to hear this. The lady says that my stepdaughter cannot even speak, so she will not be able to scream either. In the next scene we see Guming-yong, who is staying in the hotel today. And he is doing some of his work, but then the waiter comes here and leaves after keeping the food, and there is something wrong in the intention of the waiter, that is, he is planning to do something wrong here. On one side we see Ju, who does not find Sonia when he comes to the room, and then when he checks, he finds out that Sonia has run away from this room, and then he tells his men to search for her in the hotel because she would not have gone very far. On one side Sonia is running here and there and looking for a safety zone. On the other side we see Goman, who eats food, and drugs have been mixed in that food, due to which he starts feeling strange, and due to this his health also starts deteriorating a lot. And then down at the reception we see a girl who was specially called for Govindian. On one side the waiter is waiting for him, but here Sonia comes and she is talking to him, asking him to help, but she is not able to do anything for him. He is unable to understand the language because he cannot speak, and he thinks that maybe she is the same girl who had asked him to give drugs, and he tells her that we don't have time, and saying so he pushes her into Goman Yan's room. When Sun Yen comes into this room, Goman Yan is surprised to see her and says, "What are you doing here? Whoever you are, this is my personal room, get out of here." She types on her mobile and shows him that some goons are after me. "Please help me, I cannot go out from here, so please be a little quiet." But the intoxication of drugs is so severe that he is unable to understand anything, and he is unable to understand her words and catches hold of her and starts taking her out of here. But Sun Yen forcibly catches him and starts forcing him to be quiet. At this time these people come so close to each other that Goman Yen starts getting out of control. Because he is under the influence of drugs, now he picks her up in his lap and throws her on the bed and tries to kiss her, and then we see that someone is recording this scene. Basically there is a plan to spoil Gavin Yan's reputation, but then Shan Yen uses her brain and she bites Gavin Yan and runs away from here. Here the same girl passes by him who has been specially hired for Ming Yen. Now in the next scene we see that in the morning the news is spread that Ming Yen has been made the CEO of this company. Today was his first day in the office and he comes with a lot of attitude. Now Ming Yen comes with a lot of attitude and asks everyone to read the document in the shareholder meeting, and what does he say? That if anyone has any objection then tell me right now. After the meeting is over he gets up happily and goes back from here. No one has any objection, neither does Hangul like this behavior of his. Neither did Nguyen come nor his lackeys. Nguyen asks his assistant whether last night's scene was captured or not. So let's teach her a lesson by relying on this. In the next scene, Shon Yen comes to her dad's house in anger and picks up a shoe and hits her stepmom. That's why dad is angry that no one treats their mother like this. She tells everything to her dad in gestures that what her stepmom has done to her, but she denies it on his face. Dad is also supporting his own wife that she can't do this at all. Sonyeon says that no matter what happens, I will not let you sell that school for special children because he belonged to my mother. Dad says, how dare you take that shameless woman's name in my house. She says, that shameless woman, she is not my mother but her stepmother. Dad gets very angry and asks her to leave from here. Stepmother is angry after seeing all this. She is very happy, and even after his departure, the stepmother emotionally blackmails the dad. In the next scene we see Goman-jeon. Here his assistant comes and tells that after verification it was found that Hanggu had hired this girl for you. When Ming-yeon saw her, he said that this is not the girl who was with me at night, and then he tells his assistant to investigate properly. On one hand, the stepmother is filling the ears of the dad that if Mr. Jo Jog is so rich, if he marries our daughter, then how good it will be because she is dumb, there will be no one to even ask her. Dad gets angry and raises his hand and then says, but again he shouts and says that no one will marry your daughter. Save your company from bankruptcy and get her married to Mr. Fo. Then here the stepmother's own daughter comes. Here she shows the video and says, Mom, Dad, look, this is John Yen, right? Hong has made her picture viral. Here Hong Yo. He also tells Min that because of your act the members of the bots are very angry. Before they remove you from this position I should resign myself. He says that okay, I will explain to Grandpa because I don't want people to taunt you, and then the assistant comes here and tells Ming Yen that the information about that girl has been received. Hearing this, Ming shuts Yao Ho's mouth and says, who said that she was some shameless girl? She is not some random girl but my fiancé, I was going to tell. This in the press conference soon after his departure. The assistant tells Mango everything about that girl. Whose daughter is she? What does she do? And the biggest thing is that she is dumb, that is she cannot speak. Ming Yang is not affected by this at all. In the next scene Lush looks at Ming Yang's picture and says that I don't know what magic Sonia has cast on him. By the way, this guy is quite a hand shy, I wish I could woo him. But Dad scolds her and drives her away from there on hearing. After her departure, the stepmother starts whispering in Dad's ears that I think there is definitely an affair between Ming Yong and Sun Yen. In the past, his father had an affair with your wife and now his son is having an affair with your daughter. Hearing this, Dad gets triggered and gets angry. In the next scene, we see Main Gan who refuses to take his assistant with him, saying that he wants to meet that girl alone. Here the girl who had come last night gets Sun Yen kidnapped from the company itself, but then Min Yen sees this happening. He senses something fishy. After a long drive, they bring that girl to Mr. Ju and finally hand her over to Mr. Ju. Mr. Ju gets very excited because he thinks that today his night will be colorful, and then Sun Yen beats her so badly that the poor girl is unable to speak. She tries to get out of the foreign car and run away. Then Mr. Ju with great difficulty reaches his lackeys. They come and tell me she has run away. Let's go and catch him. On one side Sun Yen is running away in fear. Then she sees someone coming from the front. We see that Mangu comes to save her and he also beats everyone up. Getting a chance he asks Sun Yen, do you remember me? You bit my hand last night. Well, after a lot of beating, he drives everyone away from here. After this, he comes to that girl again and says that my name is Goman Yen and I am the CEO of Shenyu Group. I came to deal with you and I also know that you cannot talk, so should we go somewhere else and talk? On this, she gets ready to go with him. In the next scene, the stepmother is scolding both the goons that you both are not able to do any work properly. But they say that what could we do? At the end of the day, Goman Gan comes and consoles her. Hearing this, the stepmother starts thinking that something is definitely going on between these two and she gets very angry with this thing. Now in the next scene we see Goman Yen and Sean Yen. Goman Yen manages the contract and puts the papers in front of Sean Yen and tells her everything. After listening to this, Sean Yen says that okay, I am ready to do all this, but why is it necessary to do this contract marriage for all these things? Then he says that it is obviously necessary to do this because we have to kill two birds with one stone, and you do not worry that this contract will not end because this contract will end very soon, and anyway this will be a fake engagement, and if you manage this contract then you will get a lot of facilities, you will get a lot of salary, you will get off on weekends, and you will also get vacations. He was explaining all the things to her when Shan Yen gets a message from her school principal that come quickly here. The parents have created a ruckus. Seeing this she immediately leaves, and on one side Gomen Yen is standing and telling her everything. So it is not known that Shan Yen has left from here, and then a man comes here and asks, who are you talking to alone? Seeing this he asks, where has Sun Yen gone? The assistant says that she has left long ago. Gomen Yen gets very angry. In the next scene Sun Yen reaches the school running. Here many parents were creating a ruckus with the principal, on which Sun Yen explained to them in gestures that I promise you all that your future will not be spoiled. Your children's future will not be spoiled. And neither will I let the school close. Although the parents were not going to listen to anyone, but trusting Sun Yen's words, they leave from there. After they leave, it is known that she tells the principal that I have not yet been able to convince my father not to break this school, which means that the problem has not been solved yet, and she promised the school parents that she will not let the school be sold, and then she gets very upset that she will not blame her father for this thing. How will she convince him? Well, the next morning she contacts Mangan and reaches his house. Mangan is also surprised to see her suddenly, and then he asks her to come inside the house, and at the same time he asks, why did you go last night without telling him, and she says that it is because of emergency. Mangan says that it is not that you have come here today due to some emergency. Then she says that I am ready to sign your contract. Hearing this, Min becomes happy and says that I knew that you cannot refuse for this thing, but she says that I have one condition, that you have to buy the land a special education because my dad wants to make his company by selling it, and if you buy that land for me then I can save the lives of many children, and for me also it will be like killing two birds with one stone. But he starts refusing, and Min says in his mind that whatever happens, no matter what I have to do, I will get this contract and I will buy that land from him as well. She tries to seduce him. She also tries to do this, and the poor guy gets scared that what kind of behavior is this, and without thinking, the poor guy immediately agrees to her condition, on which the poor guy also leaves his life. After reading these papers etc. she also signs the contract, and then Mangan says that now you have become my lover, and he also says that let me tell you one thing, that I do not like anyone coming close to me, and if we are outside then you can stand at a distance of 20 centimeters from me only. Actually he wanted to tell her that as you were trying to get physical, do not do it at all from next time. And now while leaving he also says that as long as our contract is there, you will stay in our house, and the last thing is that you cannot even come to my room because you are not allowed. When she hears all this, she gets very angry. After doing all this, she comes to her room and messages the school principal and tells him that finally I have sorted this problem. She is dismissed, and at the same time she receives a voice message from Ming Yan that she should be ready as tomorrow she has to go to meet grandfather as his fiancé. Hearing this, the poor Sunak gets very angry that why all these things happen to me only, and then we see in the next scene that he brings her to meet his grandfather. Here, when he brings her in front of everyone, the grandfather asks Manon to come aside and tells him that look, all the people here are my relatives, so behave well with everyone, and saying this, he goes to his grandfather. Here, the grandfather starts scolding him that you got only this girl in the whole world. Don't you know how much her mother had defamed your dad in the past? Then he tells the grandfather that I have nothing to do with this girl, I have to deal with her for some time because of the company. Hearing this, the grandfather gets happy and says that at least this child is sensible, and when the company's problem is over, send this girl away and then marry some good girl. Here, seeing Jumin Yan, his relatives were telling him that this girl is not very cute. Then how did he like Hanga's daughter? She confronts Mangan, who starts taunting her about her father, and calls him the illegitimate child of his father. He says, oh, forget everything else, look, the same illegitimate child has become the CEO of your company. He leaves saying this, and Hangi gets very angry on hearing this. On the other hand, the two ladies who are talking about Sun Yen say that this girl who can neither speak nor hear, God knows how Mangan liked her. She is tired of listening to these people, and then she shows them by typing on the phone that in reality it is not me but Mangan who is crazy about me. At least he also wants me to stay with him always. That guy is crazy about me and wants to spend every night with him. He wants exactly this. In the next scene, we see the lunch scene where Ming Yan pretends to be a little romantic. He tells Shun Yan to serve him food in front of everyone so that everyone feels that there is something between us. If you do this, then I will give you 2 points. She says no, I want 5 points. He agrees and then she serves him. Well, after this, Hong tells Jaemin that our company is going to buy your company. So don't blame Ming Jan that it was not just his decision. Grandpa says that you should quickly arrange a conference and make it clear to everyone that this girl is your fiancée. Next scene, stepmother and her daughter are getting very angry about the relationship of these two. Here the girl says that, Mama, if Shan Yen gets married to Go Min Yen, then it does not mean that our company will be saved from being sold. Mama says you don't know how much Sun Yen hates us, and if it happens then all the control will come in her hands and then we are not going to get anything. She says yes, you are absolutely right. I have understood all these things now, but now I will seduce Ko Min Yen so that he can also break up with Sun Yen. Mama says, but this is risky, you don't know that your dad left her mother. Because she had a bad character. In the next scene, Sonia was being prepared for the press conference. The girls were talking about her and said that they don't know how Mr. Mangan liked this girl who can neither speak nor hear. On this, Jonia told them through her phone that I cannot speak but I can definitely hear. Well, then Mangan comes and personally asks her, Shan Yen, are you ready? He says that I am about to. On going out he meets Lucia. Gavin did not know her but she introduces her and says that I do not want my sister to cheat you. She is having affairs with many boys. While saying this, she wanted to come close to him on this pretext, but Mangan did not let her come close to him and says that I understand. Saying this, he leaves from there. In the next scene, the press conference is shown where both mother and daughter have reached and Minion, who holds Minion's hand and brings her there, starts telling all the reporters that Ju Min is my fiancé, but for her safety I want to keep it a secret. Here in the press conference, Jo Lin, that is, the daughter of the stepmother, releases fake photos of Sho Min in the press conference to malign her character, due to which everyone here starts saying bad things to Shan Yen, starts clicking her pictures and starts writing bad things about her. And then Go Min Yen takes her away from there. The stepsister is doing all this so that Gomia leaves Shan Yen. Shan Yen gets very angry. She feels bad that her reputation is being maligned in this way, but Go Min Yen supports her. And then when he comes out, he hears her stepmother and stepsister saying in the conference that the girl is characterless like this. We have been seeing her since childhood. She is characterless since childhood. She has had thousands of boyfriends. And then Gavin Yen comes here and says in the conference that you know that these are his stepmother and stepsister and you should never trust the words of stepmother and stepsister. All the reporters come in front of So Min Yen and he clarifies that all those pictures were fake and rather edited and his real pictures are shown which the IT department has recovered, and it is revealed that all this was done only against him, and he also says that if someone plots a false conspiracy against him then I will not leave him till death, but if someone tries to prove him innocent then I can give him the amount he asks for, but no one should trouble my fiancé. And after saying all this, he leaves. On one hand, Lineo was getting angry because all his plans have been ruined. In the next scene, when Go Min Yen comes to Shan Yen, he says, I told you that I will solve your problem, after which he makes a heart sign for her. She shows him her phone, to which he says that you don't need to be too happy and says that I helped you, but the rumors that you spread about me in front of Auntie. In fact, ever since you came you have been creating trouble after trouble for me. I think that for this at least 50 of your points should be cut. Thinking this, Shan Yen gets angry and says that if you keep deducting my points like this then I will not be able to do anything for the school. Then she goes to find her phone and then assistant Shane comes and says that your dad called and he was very angry at this time. Meanwhile, outside Shan Yen sees Lineo talking to that woman, and she secretly starts listening to their conversation where the woman tells Lineo that you could become Mr. Hao's wife only because of me and now you have forgotten me. She says that I have given you so much and now you are threatening me. Why didn't you stop following me? On the other side, assistant Shane also says that the assistant had brought her bag and said that Nien has found your bag. Check if anything is missing from it. She is very happy to see her bag and while checking it she says that nothing is missing, but when she looks back again, Lon and that thing were missing. She asked the assistant Jan if she could meet the owner of this place, after which he brought her to the owner. After seeing both of them in the camera, he tells that she was a temporary employee whose name is Miss Lon. This reminds her that when she was small, this woman used to take care of her mother and also used to give her various medicines. After this Jana went away saying that okay, I will get her number for you people. After this, in the next scene, Jenian is thinking about those two, that what can that woman have to do with Lanio because she came in my dad's life after mother's death. Then how can she know that woman? The assistant says that that woman is a call girl. She is not picking up the phone, on which Shun Yen says that I have some important work at home. Will you get me leave from Mr. Mun gone for a few days? After saying this, she leaves from here, and Lin Yen also saw her leaving from here and started asking Assistant Chan about her. Then he says that she has asked for a few days leave, maybe she is investigating something. In the next scene, Sonian comes home and Lasha, on seeing her, asked what have you come here to do? Seeing her, Shun Yen's dad says that you have given me the right to call me dad because you have thought of marrying my enemy. Stepsister says you heard it, right? So let's go from here. In the next scene, she thinks that I have to investigate about mama. Then I have to improve my relationship with dad. In the next scene, her dad is fishing and she comes and sits near her dad and says that, Dad, do you remember that you always used to take me with you for fishing, but after mama's death, you even stopped bringing me from school, she says. I know that you don't even want to see me, that's why I am leaving from here. But Dad says that wait, have dinner with us before leaving. This whole scene is being watched by Yush, Nishan, who is there, succeeds in emotionally blackmailing her dad. When stepfather comes, she shows all this to her mother. See how she is manipulating. Even mother cannot tolerate seeing all this. In the next scene, dinner is done, where dad was treating Shun Yen very well. She tries to plead her dad a lot and also talks about mother. She tells her dad that she was a part of my family and I can never call her. As far as I remember, when she was ill, she used to write a diary and I want to read it. Dad says that all her stuff is lying in the storeroom, you should take it from there before leaving. Lan Yu understands that her intentions are not right. Here she gets a message from school and she tells dad it's like I've got an emergency. And I will take the money later. Saying this, she goes away. Well, in the next scene, Min Yen is shown, who asks a lot of lies to Li Shan. He is telling his assistant that when did she go? Why has she not returned yet? Assistant Chan says that it has not been even half a day since she left. Why are you getting so worried about her? But he says no, I am not so worried about her. He says, well, I had to talk to her dad about the business. Why don't I go and do it now? The assistant says that you have just married his daughter. Do you think that he will sit and talk to you peacefully? Actually, this was just an excuse, he wanted to see Sonyeon. Well, in the next scene we see Lin, who is secretly searching for the diary in the storeroom. Then Sonia turns on the light from above. She says that I already knew that you were behind my mother's dating. She says no, you misunderstood me. Actually, I wanted to know by seeing this diary what happened between your mother and dad, because as far as I know, he dated because of depression. Actually, I feel bad for you that he left you at such a young age and committed suicide. He should not have done this at all. Then, taking out the recording from his bag, she says, what did you think, that I will say nonsense and you will record it? I have used all these techniques 10 years ago. Well, for today, I am forgiving you, but if you do such a thing again, I will tell your dad and will never let you enter this house again. Saying this, she left. And here one started thinking that now your good days are over and I am going to expose you very soon. Well, she comes out and is looking at the moon when Gamin Yen comes from behind and says, what are you doing here? She types it on the phone and says, leave me, you tell me what are you doing here? He says, I had come here for some work, but now I will receive you too and consider this as an employee benefit. She says, I have been here till date. I will not go home with you. On this, Mangan also quickly calls the assistant and says that I am not coming home today, so bring me to receive you. Then he walks ahead and says to Sun Yen that let's go to your house. Sun Yen is getting angry that what does this boy want? He comes inside and talks to his dad very nicely as if he is a very good son-in-law, but the dad gets up and leaves because he does not want to talk to Go-Ming Yen. After this, both of them come to the room to sleep, and here Go-Ming Yen sees her room and says that why is your room so empty? She says that I used to live in school and not here. She says that you tell me why have you come here now? He says that I just wanted to see whether you are alive or dead. She says that I have seen it, so now go and sleep in the other room. Hearing this, he immediately lies down on the bed and says that I will sleep here only. When she is leaving from here, he stops her and says that you remember the contract paper. If you have signed it, it means you will have to do as I tell you. She says that it was not written that you will have to sleep on the bed. He says that I will not even let you lie down on the bed, but you will have to sleep here on the floor. She gets very angry in her heart, but she decides to tolerate it. He changes his clothes and quickly lies down. Shonyen also lies down here. He does not let her sleep peacefully and says, come on, tell me a joke. Shou Nian was getting angry that he wants me to not be able to speak and still he is asking me to tell a joke. What a big duper he is. But then suddenly she gets up and starts telling a joke. And he also gets scared that what is she doing by getting up like this? Does she want me to tell a joke? I can't get my point deducted. After this, she starts telling him a scary story because she has come to know that she can be scared easily. Then he stops her and asks her to sleep. Hearing this, she sleeps happily. In the next scene, we see that she does not sleep but is thinking about all the things, and then Go Minyan comes from behind and sleeps next to her. She wakes up and looks at him and says, "What are you doing here?" He says that you are the one who told me the story of the witch. That is why I am feeling scared. Shan Yen starts laughing at him and she starts scaring him even more, but Man Yen says that I am telling you to stay away from me. She says that after Mama's death, I was also scared of ghosts, but I thought that after Mama's death, she would protect me. That is why I stopped getting scared. If you ever feel scared, then sing this song loudly. He tells her to stop troubling me and go and sleep on the bed, and then she happily goes to bed, and on the other side, poor Manon, who has woken up, is unable to sleep the whole night, and he wakes up the next morning and sees her. After getting ready, he was sitting in front of her and was laughing, thinking, how can this girl sleep so much? After she leaves, we see that Shou Nian opens her eyes, which means she is not sleeping but pretending. In the next scene, Mangan is telling Mr. Ho that anyway we are going to overtake your company very soon, so it will be better that you transfer all the shares to us very soon because later I will not be able to give you a good price for these shares. But without listening to him, he gets up from there and starts leaving. And seeing Shou Nian coming, he says that I have understood that you wanted to help her. That is why she suddenly started behaving so well, but Shunian does not understand what Dad is trying to say. She goes and asks Mizan. Then he says that I was just getting the contract for transferring the shares signed. She starts thinking that if everything continues like this, then the relationship between me and Dad will be spoiled and then I will never be able to do an investigation here. She follows Dad and here his dad gets hurt in his back. She tries to take care of him. He says, "Let it be, your mother will give me a massage." She says that Auntie belongs to a very good family. So when did she learn to massage? Then she says that earlier when she used to live in Marhui. Then she learned it. And then she says, "Dad, I know that you have worked very hard to build the company." She says, "Dad, I know that you have worked very hard to build the company. And I also know that this thing is affecting your health a lot. But I want you to take some decision so that it does not happen that in the end you are left with nothing. You misunderstood me that I have come here to help Govind Gan. Rather, I will help you in every decision that you have taken." Dad also gets emotional after listening to her. And then he walks back to Gom Yen with Shaman and says, "I am ready to sign this contract with you, but for this, I have two conditions. The first condition is that you will not fire any contractor of Singling Group because all those people had supported me a lot, so do not fire them. And the second is that you will hold a very big press conference and I will make it clear in front of everyone that I myself transferred these shares and that too so that my company can develop well." I easily agreed to his conditions. After this they were about to sign the contract, but then stepmother comes and says, "No, don't sign it. A lot of hard work has been done to build this company and if you give it away then we will be left with nothing. You do not know the intentions of this Churail. She wants to destroy us. But Dad says you keep quiet, you have nothing to do with this and now you go upstairs." Seeing this, Sunyan says, "I told you that I will end your good days very soon, but now." After this Dad signs the contract. Next morning we see Sunyan, who is in a hurry. She sees Vinian having breakfast, but then immediately there she starts leaving and we see Manon here, who was sitting alone and learning sign language, and when she comes back, he hides the book and says, "You had gone, then how did you come back?" But even then she did not answer, and then she again gets a message. In the next scene the office is shown where Min is still thinking about what is going on in her life. That is why he messages her and asks that, "Yes, you are there, and what are you doing here?" Assistant Chan had come to get some documents signed, which after signing he asks her, "Do you know what one is busy in these days?" He says no. Then why, what happened? He tells that she leaves the house early in the morning and comes back very late. At first he asks Assistant Chan to keep an eye on Wan, but later he refuses, saying let her do whatever she wants. After this, we see the night scene where Wan is still learning sign language, and then suddenly Wan was getting ready and going somewhere. He asks that, "Why are you so busy? Where are you going so late?" She leaves without answering. Then he starts following her secretly to find out where is she going. After following her for a long time, he sees that she had come to meet some boy. The boy says, "Miss, please forgive me, the price you have offered me is very low and I cannot do your work for this amount." Here, Mangan sees them talking together and clicks a picture and sends it to assistant Sean and calls him and tells him that he needs information about this as soon as possible. After saying this, he leaves from there. In the next scene, he is in his company, where assistant Sean came and told that nothing much could be found from that picture because it was a blurred picture. By the way, can I ask you one thing? Do you think that girl would have a relationship with Jun Yen? Ming Yen asks, which you should not ask. It would be better if you do not ask that and you go from here. Now Sonia should not come at once. Then she meets Mr. Zhou, who says, "Oh wow. I was searching for you in the skies and I found you on the ground. You have escaped twice by saving yourself, but today where will you be saved?" After saying this, he started taking her with him. He brings her to the car. He said, "Where will you go now? Now no one will save you from me." While poor Sonia was not even able to scream, then someone catches her from behind and throws her down from the car and starts beating her, who is none other than Gum John. He comes to Shon Yen and says, "Are you okay?" And then he shook his head and replied no. And then she started crying and said, "Now you do not be afraid, I have come." And then after this he starts taking her with him by picking her up and makes her sit in his car and takes her from there. After this, in the next scene when he brings her home, he picks her up too. On one side, a press conference was about to take place and she is ready to go with Mia. He says that "I did not think that you will come with me." On the other side, we see her stepmother who is speaking ill of Sean Yen in front of everyone to prove herself innocent, that she has never been one of our own since childhood and has never considered us her own. Then Govin Jan and Sham Yen come here. After saying hello to Dad, she says that "I will just go and meet Auntie." When she meets Auntie, she cheers her up and because of this wine falls on her dress. That is why she says that "I have brought this dress for you, so go and change." When she goes inside and opens the dress, it is a hostess dress, seeing which she gets surprised. And then Sonia Naughty comes from behind and says that "You are from a rich family." She does not belong to the family. Rather, she was from a middle-class family and was a hostess. She says, "Yes, I was a hostess. What will you do? Who will believe your words?" And then here a fight starts between these two. Her stepmother tells Sunyan that "I was not crazy about your father. He was crazy about me. He was begging day and night that I should marry him." And on one side her father is giving a speech here. Then all these things start running on TV and all these people start watching this. Dad, seeing all this, says, "Where's the remote? Quickly stop all this." Dad comes inside and says, "What are you doing? All this is going on live on TV." She comes to beat her daughter, but Govind Yen comes in front and says, "Don't even try to make this mistake." Here Dad scolds Sunyan that "If there was something then you would have told me. What was the need to spoil the reputation like this?" Sunyan thinks that even now Dad is concerned about reputation, and then Mizan reveals that "Sorry, the one whom you consider innocent. He is the one who sold your property behind your back." He also says that "From where did the money come in his account? If you want to know all this, then ask him." Saying all this, he also tells her that "What am I hearing all this?" After this, she finally tells her dad that "You cannot put your property in the name of these people. You will have to leave only 5% in the name of these people and the rest will have to be done on Marina." Hearing all this, her stepmother tells her dad that "We have been with you for so many years. You cannot do this to us." He says that "For now I will have to do this." In the next scene, we see that Sun Yen brings evidence and she proves to her dad that it was not anyone else but my stepmother who forced Mama to commit suicide. Seeing all this, she starts telling her husband that "Forgive me, I am doing all this because I loved you very much," and then says that finally, "We both got divorced. And now we both will not have any relation with each other. What Sun Yen wanted has been fulfilled." This poor girl is shocked to know how her mother died. And then she is coming back in the car. Then she asks the driver to stop the car and says that "I will go alone." She comes to a building and cries and drinks a lot here. Seeing her, it seems that maybe she also wanted to commit suicide. When Vinayan comes to know all this, he runs towards her. The terrace door is locked, but still he comes to her. After breaking the door, she is not listening to anything he says and is only drinking and crying. Then he comes from behind and catches her and says that "I will not let you do this." And then while she is crying, her mother's voice comes out of her mouth. He is also surprised. He lifts her in his lap and says that "Take care of yourself." In the next scene, we see that she is in the hospital and she is very happy that her voice has returned. Guman Yen is also taking care of her. In the next scene, Yes brings her to his grandfather's birthday. Grandpa takes him aside and says that all the problems have been short-circuited. So now you should get married again and divorce him. Here, Grandpa is feeding cake to Sun Yen while cutting the cake, but she says that she is allergic to it or hangu. Hearing such words of her, he starts thinking something, and Grandpa also thinks, well, we will know about it later. In the next scene, we see that both of them are not able to sleep at night, thinking that now they are going to get divorced. Both of them have feelings for each other in their hearts, but this thing has not been realized by both of them. In the next scene, we see that Grandpa also stops from coming in between them and says that I am not going to come in between you two. I am not so old-fashioned that I will separate you both. If both of you like each other, then you can live with each other. In the next scene, Grandpa starts forcing these people to give me a grandchild soon. Everyone says, what is the hurry? He says, I don't know anything, just fulfill my wishes. In the next scene, we come to know that Gavin Yen has a disorder, and that disorder is being treated since a very long time. Finally, the doctor comes to know that he is going to get married, and he tells his wife that if this disorder has to be cured, then you have to try to stay close to her. Here, the doctor sends Gavin Yen to go out. I have to talk to Shon Yen, and then she decides that she has helped me a lot. She has saved me from goons many times, so this time it is my turn to save her from this disorder. When Gavin Yen comes to know all this, he says, what did the doctor say? She says, how do I know? He says, maybe I am going to die. That's why the doctor sent me out. I am not married yet. I don't have children. I don't even have a girlfriend, and I will die like this without enjoying life. Saying this, he starts crying. She calms him down and says something like this. And she starts getting close to him. He gets surprised as to what she is doing, and then she says that to cure your disorder I will have to be close to you. She stays close to you day and night. And when she tells this to the doctor says that this won't work. You guys are a couple, you will have to romance. After this, both of them accidentally kiss, after which Gomin Yen is very surprised. After the kiss, they come a little closer and also start talking romantically with each other. But in the next scene we see that Sun Yin gets kidnapped, and all this is with her mother. On one side is Gavin Yen, who comes to get a diamond ring for her, because now he is finally going to propose her. In the next scene, we see that he finds out where Shon Yen is and he comes to pick her up. She is in a very bad condition. Her stepmother is giving her a hug. Gavin Yen says that I am ready to give her as much money as you want, but still she is not leaving him. At the right time, her security guards come here and catch the stepmother and take her away. And he saves Sun Yen in time. He finally confesses his love to her. In the next scene, Sun Yen finds out that Gomin Yen is her own brother. She is shocked to hear this. He says that I can prove it to you. And then these photos and DNA reports show that your mother had an affair a long time ago, due to which you were conceived in her womb. And Gomin Yan's dad could not marry your mother according to his status. So if we see that you both are brother and sister, she is heartbroken to hear this. She also understands that her mother also had an affair. She is near her mother's grave. She comes and starts crying that mummy, because of you everything got spoiled, because of you I was fighting so much, actually you were the cheater. On one side is Govin Gan, who is standing and listening to all this, and still he is not able to believe that she is his own sister when she comes back home. Then he tells her that I am not dad's own son but I am adopted. He adopted me from an orphanage and he taught me everything. Hearing this, both of them defend each other and finally they decide to get married. Coming to the conference, she tells in front of everyone that I am going to be the mother of Gominen's child, and seeing this everyone gets surprised and Gomin Yen also gets happy seeing this. But then Hanga comes and tells in front of everyone that these two are siblings and these two cannot get married, and then Grandpa gets up and says that I had adopted Gomin Yen, due to which these two are not siblings. So now let these two get married and live their life. Let him enjoy. Well, Hanga's motive is also fulfilled because he wanted the whole society to know that he is not his son, so that all the rights of the company can come on him and he can become the CEO. In the next scene, we see that Grandpa's condition worsens because he did not want Hongu to become the CEO, and then Shunny Yen says that I am your blood, I can become the CEO. Grandpa is very happy to hear this, and then Grandpa comes to the company and reveals to Hong in front of everyone what kind of a person he is, and then he is expelled from the company and even removed from the property. In the next scene, when these people come out, she does not talk to Gomin Yen because she is angry with him and he also does not bother her. Then an auntie comes and tells her to quickly go to her mother's grave, and when she reaches there, the entire mother's grave is decorated and there are a lot of notes here. Gomin Yen confesses his love to her and says that I will love you for lifetime. I want to protect you because I love you, so tell me, do you accept my proposal or not? She accepts his proposal and both of them take blessings in front of their mother, after which there is a romantic kiss between them, and this is where this drama has a happy ending. So see you in the next video. Till then, take care, bye.